drops the pieces. These billion-dollar deals require experience, not quotas. He steps on her documents, grinding his heel deliberately. The tech summit audience gasps. Olivia's face remains calm. Her eyes don't. Sterling leans close, whispering, "Your board made a mistake. I'll fix it after the merger." Security cameras capture everything. Phones record from every angle. Olivia straightens her jacket, checks her watch, reaches for her phone. Sterling's victory smirk vanishes when Olivia whispers, "Merger canceled." Olivia arrives at the summit earlier that morning. Her quantum computing breakthroughs revolutionized medical research, making Quantum Shift the fastest-growing tech company this year. The merger with Sterling Innovations promises to create North America's largest tech conglomerate. She steps into the VIP lounge, security badge prominently displayed. Her tailored navy suit and confident stride mark her as an industry leader. Jeffrey Sterling watches from across the room. "Who let the help into the executive section?" he mutters to his CFO. Several executives laugh nervously, eyes darting toward Olivia. She pretends not to hear. Makes a mental note. The morning keynote begins. The moderator introduces major industry players. "And joining us from Quantum Shift's HR department," Sterling interrupts, gesturing vaguely toward Olivia. "That's Olivia Blackwell, CEO of Quantum Shift Technologies," the moderator corrects, looking uncomfortable. Sterling shrugs. "Easy mistake." During pre-merger meetings, Sterling directs all technical questions to Olivia's male subordinates, despite her attempts to answer. "Let's hear from someone with engineering background," he says when she begins explaining Quantum Shift's core technology. She holds her tablet tighter, says nothing. At lunch, Olivia sits alone, reviewing merger documents. Sterling's voice carries from a nearby table where he entertains potential investors. "The merger's just regulatory theater," he tells them loudly. "Once completed, we'll restructure their leadership, put someone qualified in charge." Security cameras capture every word. Olivia's phone buzzes. A text from her chief legal officer. "Still want to proceed?" She types back, "Let's see how far he goes." The afternoon panel features Olivia presenting Quantum Shift's neural interface breakthrough. Sterling interrupts repeatedly. "What Olivia means is," he begins for the third time, explaining her own technology to her. The moderator makes no attempt to intervene. Olivia notices journalists exchanging glances. Recording devices capture Sterling's behavior. Evidence accumulates with each interaction. She maintains professional composure, completes her presentation despite interruptions. Several audience members approach her afterward, pointedly ignoring Sterling. What Sterling doesn't realize, Olivia isn't just any CEO, and the merger agreement contains a clause he never bothered to read. The pre-announcement reception buzzes with tech industry elite. Crystal chandeliers reflect off champagne flutes and designer watches. Stakes measured in billions hover unseen. Olivia navigates the room with practiced ease. Her team strategically positions themselves throughout the space, smartwatches and glasses recording every interaction. Sterling approaches, flanked by 3 board members. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Olivia, just the person I wanted to see." His voice drips condescension. "We're revising the announcement speech. You'll have 2 minutes instead of 5. She meets his gaze directly. "The technical specifics need proper explanation, Jeffrey." Technical details bore these people. Sterling waves dismissively. "Let's be efficient." "The technical details are why this merger is valuable," Olivia counters. Sterling lowers his voice but remains audible to nearby attendees. "Let's be honest. Your company's valuation is inflated. We're doing you a favor with this merger." He leans closer. "Your board was smart enough to realize you need real leadership." A venture capitalist nearby shifts uncomfortably, pretending not to hear. Olivia notices the reaction. "Our valuation reflects our patents and market position," she responds calmly. "Perhaps you should review the portfolio again." Sterling laughs too loudly. I've seen enough science projects from your team. He taps her shoulder. What matters is who can execute at scale. That's why we're here. Olivia removes his hand. Don't touch me, Jeffrey. Touchy. Sterling's eyes narrow. Is that how you got the board to appoint you? Playing the harassment card? His entourage looks uncomfortable but remains silent. Complicity through inaction. Olivia's phone buzzes. A text from her mysterious contact at Sterling's bank. Found what you suspected. Call when ready. Sterling steps back, satisfied with his dominance display. Remember, 2 minutes. Keep it simple. Your people might struggle with complex concepts. The comment hangs in the air. Several listeners turn away, embarrassed by the naked prejudice. Olivia watches him walk away. Her expression shifts from controlled anger to something more dangerous, calculated determination. Sterling struts away oblivious, unaware he's no longer the hunter, but the prey. The merger announcement ceremony begins. Rows of tech journalists fill the grand ballroom, laptops open, cameras ready. Market-moving news awaits. Sterling takes the podium first. Spotlights highlight his expensive suit and practiced smile. Today marks a historic moment for our industry, he begins. His presentation outlines a visionary future that conspicuously minimizes Quantum Shift's contributions. The slides showcase Sterling Innovations logos overwhelming the smaller Quantum Shift branding. He gestures toward Olivia. And now, let me introduce Olivia Blackwell, who has been helpful in bringing this deal together. The diminishment is deliberate. Several journalists exchange glances. As Olivia approaches the stage, Sterling lifts his water glass. His elbow accidentally knocks over the glass, spilling water across her presentation notes. Oops, so clumsy of me. He smiles for the cameras. Guess you'll have to wing it. Olivia leaves the soggy papers, takes the podium without notes. Quantum Shift's quantum computing architecture enables medical research breakthroughs previously considered impossible, she begins. Her command of the technology impresses the audience. Sterling interrupts. What Olivia means is that our combined resources will accelerate development, she continues, describing their proprietary algorithms. The audience leans forward, genuinely interested. Sterling laughs audibly. That's adorable. He steps to the microphone. Let me explain what's actually happening with the technology. He physically moves her away from the podium. The room grows uncomfortable. Journalists exchange troubled glances. Sterling's PR director looks horrified but does nothing. Olivia stands silently as Sterling takes over completely. His technical explanation contains obvious errors that demonstrate his limited understanding of her company's technology. The quantum states function like traditional binary systems, he declares incorrectly. A reporter raises a hand. Ms. Blackwell, would you care to respond to Mr. Sterling's interpretation? Before Olivia can answer, Sterling cuts in. We've taken enough of Ms. Blackwell's time. He winks at the audience. She has diversity panels to attend, I'm sure. Scattered gasps emerge. A journalist in the front row frowns visibly. Olivia steps away from the podium with perfect composure. Sterling believes he's won. The moderator awkwardly transitions to the Q&A portion as Olivia returns to her seat. From the side of the stage, she makes 3 rapid phone calls. Her expression never changes, but her team mobilizes immediately. Sterling fields questions with characteristic arrogance, repeatedly referring to my company when discussing the merged entity. Across the room, Olivia's chief legal officer slides a document across the table to Sterling's general counsel. The lawyer reads quickly, face turning ashen. He immediately stands, trying to catch Sterling's attention from the audience. Sterling basks in the spotlight, oblivious to the legal bomb about to detonate his empire. Olivia retreats to a private conference room. Glass walls frost opaque with a touch of a button. Digital security activates. Her team assembles virtually on the wall screen. Her chief legal officer sits with perfect posture. Head of communications looks concerned. A third individual remains in shadow, identity obscured. "I've activated the contingency plan," Olivia states. No emotion betrays the significance of this moment. Sterling crossed every line we anticipated. The mysterious third participant speaks, voice deliberately modified. "The financial irregularities in Sterling's last funding round are confirmed. His books won't withstand scrutiny." Olivia nods. The pieces align exactly as she predicted. "He believes power grants immunity," she says. It doesn't. What no one at the summit realizes: Olivia isn't just a brilliant technologist. Before founding Quantum Shift, she served as a federal prosecutor specializing in corporate fraud. Her Justice Department connections remain strong, her understanding of securities law unmatched in the tech sector. "Leak the information to the SEC tonight," she instructs. "Anonymous source. No connection to us." Her communications director objects. "If we terminate the merger now, our stock could take a hit." "This isn't about stock price," Olivia replies. "It's about the future of the industry. Sterling represents everything toxic in tech." She straightens a pen on the table. "Someone needs to take a stand." Across the venue, Sterling celebrates with his inner circle. Champagne flows freely. "Once we absorb their patents, we'll restructure the entire division," he boasts. "Blackwell will be gone within 6 months. His general counsel approaches nervously. "Sir, there's something in the merger agreement we need to discuss." Sterling waves dismissively. "Can it wait? We're celebrating." Section 12.4 contains unusual language about conduct unbecoming of leadership. Sterling sips his champagne. "Boilerplate morality clause. Meaningless. It specifically grants either party unilateral termination rights if the other party engages in discriminatory behavior," the lawyer persists. "With liquidated damages set at 30% of the merger value." Sterling's glass stops midair. "That's over $2 billion. And Ms. Blackwell's team has been documenting every interaction today." Back in her conference room, Olivia reviews Sterling's history. This isn't his first offense, just the first time someone built a case. Former employees have agreed to come forward. Evidence mounts hourly. Her phone rings. The board chair of Sterling Innovations. "Olivia, Jeffrey assures me there's been a misunderstanding." His voice carries forced joviality. "Perhaps we could discuss this privately?" "There's nothing to discuss," Olivia replies. "The merger termination paperwork has already been filed." She ends the call, opens her laptop. On screen, both companies' stock tickers prepare for after-hours trading. Her team waits for instructions. "Now we wait," she says. Breaking news alerts cut across financial channels. SEC launches investigation into Sterling Innovations financials. Sterling barges into Olivia's temporary office without knocking. His face flushes red, tie askew. "You can't terminate this merger!" Spittle flies from his mouth. "Your board approved it!" Olivia remains seated, perfectly composed. The contrast between his rage and her calm could not be starker. "Read the agreement you signed, Jeffrey." Her voice stays even. "The morality clause gives me unilateral authority under these circumstances." "This is absurd." He slams his palm on her desk. "You're throwing away billions over hurt feelings." "No." She meets his gaze. "I'm enforcing consequences for unacceptable behavior. There's a difference." Sterling looms over her desk. His attempt at physical intimidation fails completely. "You're making a career-ending mistake." His voice drops to a threatening whisper. "I'll destroy you in the press. Try it." Olivia doesn't flinch. "Every major tech blog already has footage of your behavior today." Sterling's phone erupts with notifications. He pulls it from his pocket. His face pales. Sterling Innovations stock plummets 8% in after-hours trading. Quantum Shift holds steady. "This is market manipulation," Sterling shouts. "No, it's the market responding to leadership failure." Olivia closes her laptop. I suggest you prepare a statement. Sterling storms out, immediately calling his PR team. He demands they craft a narrative painting Olivia as emotionally unstable and unfit for leadership. Meanwhile, Olivia releases a simple statement. Quantum Shift Technologies has exercised its contractual right to terminate the proposed merger with Sterling Innovations, effective immediately. We remain committed to our core mission of advancing ethical technology. Industry analysts scramble to understand the sudden collapse of the year's biggest tech deal. CNBC runs breaking news banners. Twitter explodes with speculation. Sterling gives an impromptu press conference in the hotel lobby. Olivia Blackwell has irresponsibly sabotaged a deal that would have benefited both companies, he declares. This rash decision demonstrates exactly why leadership experience matters. In her hotel suite, Olivia receives a call from a major Sterling Innovations shareholder. Ms. Blackwell, I'm calling privately. The voice sounds cautious. We've been concerned about Jeffrey's behavior for some time. Would you consider meeting with a subset of the board? A journalist blindsides Sterling with the question, Can you comment on reports that the SEC has requested your financial records? Morning headlines explode across business media. Tech's 7.8B merger collapses overnight, dominates every channel. Sterling's face appears side by side with Olivia's on split-screen analyses. Sterling's public relations machine works overtime. The narrative they push. Olivia acted impulsively and unprofessionally, endangering shareholder value over personal offense. Sterling appears on financial mourning, his usual commanding presence now carefully calibrated to appear reasonable and concerned. Blackwell clearly wasn't prepared for the pressure of this deal, he explains to the sympathetic host. Her emotional reaction demonstrates exactly why the merger made sense. Quantum Shift needs experienced leadership. The interviewer pushes back unexpectedly. Sources say you repeatedly undermined and humiliated Ms. Blackwell during the summit. Video circulating online shows you knocking papers from her hands. How do you respond? Sterling's smile flickers momentarily. Completely exaggerated. Context matters. He straightens his tie. I have the utmost respect for diversity in our industry. Simultaneously, Olivia meets with Quantum Shift's board in their headquarters. The conference room atmosphere remains tense but supportive. She presents complete documentation of Sterling's behavior. Timeline, witnesses, recordings. The evidence builds an irrefutable case. The morality clause triggers a $2.3 billion penalty payment from Sterling Innovations, the chief legal officer explains. Their lawyers are already trying to negotiate it down. We don't negotiate harassment penalties, Olivia states firmly. The board unanimously backs her decision. Sterling receives devastating news in his private car. 3 major clients have paused contract negotiations pending resolution of both the behavioral allegations and the unexpected SEC inquiry. His executive team gathers for crisis management. The CFO looks particularly stressed. The SEC investigation is the real problem, he admits reluctantly. If they dig into the Series E valuation discrepancies, no one can prove anything, Sterling interrupts sharply. Focus on discrediting Blackwell. Meanwhile, anonymous whistleblowers from Sterling Innovations begin contacting Quantum Shift's legal team. They provide additional evidence of Sterling's pattern of discriminatory behavior and financial irregularities. Olivia forwards all information to regulatory authorities without commenting publicly. Her strategy relies on facts and documentation rather than media battles. Sterling's assistant enters his office with an urgent message. She approaches cautiously, aware of his volatile mood. The board has called an emergency meeting tomorrow, and they're not telling your team what it's about. Sterling faces his increasingly skeptical board across the mahogany table. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating nervous faces. This is a temporary PR problem, Sterling insists, standing rather than sitting. Blackwell overreacted, and the market is responding irrationally. A board member leans forward. Gray hair and decades of experience lend gravity to his words. The SEC inquiry isn't irrational, Jeffrey. His tone carries unmistakable concern. Neither is the $2.3 billion penalty clause you triggered. No court will enforce that ridiculous clause! Sterling pounds the table with his fist. The water glasses jump. Our outside counsel disagrees, the board chair responds coolly. She slides a legal brief across the table. They've reviewed the videos. You clearly violated the terms. Sterling dismisses their concerns with a wave. Stand firm with me. This blows over in a week. The room temperature seems to drop. No one meets his confident gaze. Meanwhile, Olivia convenes a different kind of meeting with Sterling Innovations' largest competitors. Her office projects calm confidence with its minimalist design. Quantum Shift remains interested in strategic partnerships that align with our values, she tells them. No desperation, only opportunity. Industry leaders who previously feared Sterling's market dominance now see possibility. 3 potential partnership offers materialize within hours. Sterling's team prepares for damage control as more whistleblowers emerge. Former employees detail years of similar behavior, always carefully hidden from public view but widely known internally. His personal attorney warns him privately. The pattern here is problematic, Jeffrey. We need to consider settlement options. I don't settle. I win. Sterling straightens his cufflinks. That's how I built this company. The lawyer persists. The SEC isn't just looking at the incident with Blackwell. They're investigating financial disclosures from the last 3 funding rounds. Sterling dismisses him. Find better solutions. At Quantum Shift headquarters, Olivia receives unexpected news. Her assistant enters with a message marked urgent. Sterling Innovations' second-largest shareholder requests a confidential meeting, she reports. They believe the company needs new leadership. They're asking if you'd consider a different structure for collaboration. Olivia considers this development. Tell them I'm open to ethical partnerships that respect all parties. Sterling's assistant interrupts his strategy session with breaking news. Sir, someone leaked the board meeting recording to the press. The leaked board recording spreads like wildfire across tech media. Sterling's dismissive comments about the SEC investigation and refusal to acknowledge wrongdoing damage his remaining credibility. We handle these things, his recorded voice declares arrogantly. Regulators need education, not compliance. Sterling Innovations' stock drops another 12% by mid-morning. Market analysts downgrade their outlook from hold to sell. Major clients begin suspending contracts pending resolution. Sterling calls Olivia directly. His tone attempts business-like neutrality, but strain shows through. Let's be reasonable about this, he begins without introduction. What do you really want? Accountability, Olivia answers simply. Name your price, Sterling demands. Everyone has one. Olivia's voice remains calm. This isn't about money, Jeffrey. It's about changing how business is done. Don't pretend this is some moral crusade, Sterling scoffs. You're just another CEO protecting your territory. No, Olivia corrects him. I'm a former federal prosecutor who specialized in corporate fraud before founding Quantum Shift. The SEC investigators handling your case are my former colleagues. The line goes silent. For the first time, Sterling understands who he's truly dealing with. Olivia continues into his stunned silence. I've spent 2 years documenting similar behavior toward other executives. 15 former Sterling employees provided sworn statements. The merger was never my endgame. She ends the call. Sterling stares at his phone, face ashen. A profile published by the Wall Street Journal reveals Olivia's background to the world. Before founding Quantum Shift, she prosecuted 37 corporate fraud cases with a 100% conviction rate. She left the Justice Department specifically to address ethics in the tech industry from within. The article details how Olivia previously turned down acquisition offers from 3 other major tech companies, all with problematic leadership. Quantum Shift's revolutionary patents made it valuable enough to gain leverage over larger, entrenched players. Sterling's board meets again in emergency session without him. They review a comprehensive dossier Olivia provided. Evidence of financial misrepresentations, hostile workplace violations, and Sterling's personal misuse of corporate resources. She planned this from the beginning, a board member realizes with dawning comprehension. The merger announcement was just the stage. Sterling frantically calls his major investors, but doors suddenly close. His carefully cultivated image as a tech visionary unravels as more employees come forward with their experiences. At Quantum Shift headquarters, Olivia addresses her employees. No grandstanding, just straight facts. Today marks a turning point, not just for our company, but potentially for the industry, she tells them. Toxic leadership shouldn't be the price of innovation. The company announces a new ethics framework for potential partnerships, requirements that would disqualify companies with Sterling's culture. 4 major tech firms immediately begin revising their policies to qualify. Industry publications run special features analyzing the implications. Has tech's brilliant jerk era finally ended? Asks one headline. Another declares, the Blackwell Standard. New ethics framework challenges industry norms. Sterling faces the ultimate humiliation, a special board meeting to discuss leadership transition options. His once loyal executive team starts distancing themselves, suddenly unavailable for strategy sessions. His chief marketing officer resigns, citing personal reasons. His head of engineering takes sudden medical leave. The rats abandon the sinking ship with remarkable speed. Sterling paces his penthouse office, watching his empire crumble through floor-to-ceiling windows. His phone buzzes constantly with crisis alerts and margin calls as his stock options plummet. He rehearses arguments for saving his position, practices expressions of contrition without admission of wrongdoing, prepares to fight for his corporate life. Meanwhile, Olivia implements the next phase of her strategy. Quantum Shift announces 3 new strategic partnerships worth a combined $11.2 billion, far exceeding the collapsed Sterling merger's value. The company's stock reaches an all-time high. Financial analysts who questioned her decision now praise her strategic vision. Blackwell's chess game becomes shorthand for her methodical dismantling of Sterling's position. Sterling enters the boardroom for the most important fight of his career. His team has prepared arguments about continuity, market stability, and his irreplaceable vision. The board chair greets him with unusual formality. Before he can begin his prepared remarks, screens around the room light up with breaking news. CNBC's headline strikes like a killing blow. Quantum Shift announces partnership with Sterling Innovation's 3 largest competitors. Sterling's board meeting devolves into chaos. The partnership announcement destroys his carefully prepared defense. Evidence of misconduct overwhelms any counter-arguments. You can't seriously consider removing me, Sterling argues, desperation creeping into his voice. I built this company from nothing. The board chair remains unmoved. And now you've put it at existential risk. She slides a document across the table. The SEC investigation alone could destroy shareholder value. The harassment allegations make it worse. The vote requires only minutes. 8-1 for immediate removal as CEO, effective immediately. This is outrageous! Sterling slams his fist on the table. You can't do this! It's done, the chair responds. Security will escort you from the building. Sterling finds himself walking through his own headquarters with security personnel flanking him. Employees avert their eyes. His access badge deactivates before he reaches his car. Company credit cards shut down before he exits the parking garage. Meanwhile, Olivia implements the next phase of her strategy. Quantum Shift announces an industry-wide ethics initiative, inviting companies to commit to specific diversity and conduct standards with concrete enforcement mechanisms. The Blackwell Standards, as financial media immediately dubs them, include zero tolerance for harassment, equity-linked executive compensation, and transparent reporting structures. Compliance brings preferential partnership opportunities with Quantum Shift's groundbreaking technologies. The SEC investigation expands beyond Sterling to examine similar patterns at other tech giants. 3 major companies proactively announce internal reviews and policy changes, hoping to avoid Sterling's fate. Sterling's personal wealth plummets as Sterling Innovations stock continues falling. Forbes estimates he loses $1.8 billion in personal net worth within 3 days. Major financial publications that once celebrated him now question how his behavior remained unchecked for so long. Sterling embodied tech's toxic masculinity problem, declares a scathing Bloomberg analysis. His downfall signals a market-driven correction to industry culture. Tech industry leaders carefully distance themselves from Sterling while privately reviewing their own vulnerability to similar situations. Executive coaches report surging demand for sensitivity training among C-suite clients. Olivia receives invitations to testify before congressional committees on tech industry culture and regulation. Her background as both prosecutor and CEO gives her unique credibility with lawmakers from both parties. The issue isn't lack of laws, she tells them during testimony. It's lack of enforcement and accountability. Markets respond to risk, make toxic behavior expensive, and companies will prevent it. Sterling attempts to rally support through back channels but finds former allies unwilling to risk association. Venture capital firms begin adding Sterling clauses to funding agreements, specific provisions against harassment and discrimination with severe financial penalties. Getting Sterlinged enters industry vernacular as shorthand for career implosion through misconduct. His behavior toward Olivia becomes a case study in business ethics courses at top universities. 3 women who previously settled harassment claims against Sterling come forward publicly. Their accounts reveal a pattern spanning 15 years, enabled by confidentiality agreements and complicit executives. Meanwhile, Quantum Shift announces 3 strategic partnerships worth a combined $11.2 billion, far exceeding the collapsed Sterling merger's value. The company's stock reaches an all-time high. Blackwell proved ethics and profits aren't mutually exclusive, declares the Wall Street Journal. Her strategy paired moral clarity with financial acumen. Sterling's legal team advises him to settle all claims immediately. His personal attorney delivers the assessment in Sterling's penthouse apartment, now cluttered with takeout containers and rumpled clothes. Fighting this will only expose more evidence against you, his lawyer warns. The documentation is comprehensive. They can't prove financial fraud, Sterling insists, pacing between floor-to-ceiling windows. It's her word against mine on the harassment. The documentation is comprehensive, his lawyer repeats firmly. And the SEC has granted immunity to your former CFO. This revelation stuns Sterling. He collapses into a leather chair. Martin? Impossible. He's been cooperating for weeks, the lawyer confirms, ever since the merger announcement. Sterling Innovations announces a comprehensive settlement the following day. $2.3 billion to Quantum Shift for the merger termination penalty, plus separate harassment settlements with former employees totaling $118 million. The company also agrees to external monitoring of its workplace culture for 5 years. Industry analysts calculate the total cost of Sterling's behavior at approximately $4.7 billion when including market capitalization losses, legal fees, and remediation costs. A respected business publication runs a feature titled The Sterling Tax, Calculating the True Cost of Toxic Leadership. Corporate boards across the technology sector share the article in governance meetings. Sterling himself retreats from public view. His social media accounts go dormant. Speaking engagements disappear from his calendar. The industry moves on with remarkable speed, his absence barely noticed after the initial scandal fades. Olivia focuses on implementation rather than celebration. Quantum Shift establishes a foundation to support underrepresented founders in technology. The company's neural interface technology receives fast-track FDA approval for medical applications. 3 months after the summit incident, Sterling Innovations, under new leadership, begins the painful process of cultural transformation. The company establishes an ethics oversight board with actual authority and transparent reporting structures. "We're committed to learning the right lessons," the new CEO declares. "This company's future depends on rebuilding trust." Industry conferences implement the Blackwell Protocol, specific measures to prevent harassment and ensure respectful professional interactions. Summit organizers who previously ignored problematic behavior now proactively address it. Olivia's inbox fills with confidential messages from employees at other companies reporting similar misconduct. She establishes a secure reporting system that connects whistleblowers with appropriate legal resources. The industry begins a painful but necessary examination of its culture. Venture capital firms revise term sheets to include enforceable conduct requirements. Investors recognize that toxic leadership creates material business risk. Wall Street analysts create new metrics for leadership risk in company valuations. Companies with diverse leadership teams and strong ethics frameworks begin attracting premium valuations. Sterling's legal position deteriorates further when forensic accountants discover evidence of tax evasion through offshore structures. The Justice Department opens a separate investigation beyond the SEC's securities focus. His lawyer delivers the news in Sterling's nearly empty penthouse. "They're considering criminal charges, Jeffrey. We need to discuss plea options." "I'm not pleading to anything," Sterling insists, though his voice lacks conviction. "The alternative is potentially worse," the lawyer warns. "The evidence trail is clear." As legal pressures mount, Olivia receives an unexpected message. Sterling has requested a private meeting, with both legal teams present. The message comes with an unusual addendum. No recording devices, no press, no predetermined agenda. The meeting takes place in neutral territory, a prestigious law firm's conference room overlooking the city. Sterling arrives first, his designer suit hanging slightly loose on his frame. The stress of recent months has aged him visibly. Olivia enters precisely on time with her legal team. Sterling's lawyers flank him protectively. "You destroyed everything I built," Sterling begins, ignoring his attorney's warning hand. "No, Jeffrey, you did that yourself," Olivia replies calmly. "Every action had consequences you chose to ignore." Sterling's posture stiffens. "What do you want now? You've won. The company's paying your penalty." "This was never about money," Olivia explains. "It was about changing behavior. The industry has tolerated discrimination and harassment too long." "Please," Sterling scoffs. "This was personal revenge." "This was accountability," Olivia corrects. "Something you've avoided your entire career." Sterling's lawyer interrupts, sensing the deteriorating tone. "We're prepared to discuss additional settlement terms if you'll sign confidentiality agreements regarding Mr. Sterling's conduct." Olivia shakes her head. "Transparency is non-negotiable. The behavior stays public so the industry can learn from it." Sterling fumes but remains powerless. His legal position deteriorates daily as more evidence emerges. Former allies continue distancing themselves, unwilling to be tainted by association. "You've made your point," Sterling concedes bitterly after his lawyers whisper urgent advice. "Name your final terms." Olivia slides a document across the table. 3 pages, clear language, specific commitments. "Industry-wide change," she states. "The Sterling Innovation Fund will be renamed and redirected to support founders from underrepresented groups. You'll make a public statement acknowledging your behavior and commit to counseling." Sterling reads the document, face darkening. "You expect me to humiliate myself?" "I expect you to take responsibility," Olivia counters. "Or face the SEC charges without settlement support from your former company." The choice becomes clear. Sterling's reputation lies in ruins already. Fighting further only risks criminal charges and potential incarceration. After 30 minutes of legal consultation, Sterling signs the agreement. His signature lacks its former confident flourish. Within hours, he releases a carefully worded statement acknowledging behavior inconsistent with modern leadership standards and announcing his decision to step back from the industry while pursuing personal growth. The statement satisfies no one completely but fulfills the agreement's requirements. Sterling retreats to his Aspen compound, vanishing from public view. Industry reaction proves swift and decisive. Sterling's downfall becomes a cautionary tale repeated in boardrooms across Silicon Valley. Companies rush to strengthen anti-harassment policies and diversity initiatives, fearing they might become the next Sterling Innovations. The renamed Innovation Equity Fund announces its first investments, backing promising startups led by founders previously marginalized in tech. The irony escapes no one. Sterling's greatest positive impact comes through his removal. Olivia declines numerous victory lap media opportunities. Instead, she focuses on systemic change, working with industry groups to establish enforceable standards. Individual consequences matter, she tells her team, but preventing the next Sterling matters more. 3 major tech conferences adopt comprehensive anti-harassment policies with actual enforcement mechanisms. Venture capital firms implement ethics screening in their due diligence processes. Sterling watches his legacy transform from his self-imposed exile. The innovations he genuinely contributed become footnotes to his misconduct. Business publications analyze his downfall as a case study in hubris and entitlement. His former company thrives under new leadership. The stock recovers as the new CEO implements the changes Olivia demanded. Sterling Innovations becomes, ironically, a model for corporate transformation. As Sterling retreats further from public life, a congressional subcommittee announces hearings on leadership accountability in technology, with Olivia Blackwell as the first scheduled witness. Sterling watches the hearing announcement on his living room television, then makes an unexpected call to his therapist. 6 months later, the tech landscape shows remarkable evolution. Olivia walks through Quantum Shift's expanded headquarters, observing teams collaborating across departments. The Blackwell Standards, Quantum Shift's ethics framework, has become the industry benchmark. Companies compete to demonstrate compliance. Olivia testifies before Congress in a packed hearing room. Cameras capture her measured responses to lawmakers' questions. The Sterling incident wasn't isolated, she explains. It represented systemic problems our industry has ignored for decades. Real change requires structural accountability. Her proposed regulatory framework gains bipartisan support, a rarity in the polarized political environment. Major tech companies endorse the guidelines, recognizing that public sentiment demands action. When misconduct becomes financially catastrophic, prevention becomes priority, Olivia tells the committee. Markets respond to risk. The renamed Innovation Equity Fund, formerly Sterling's flagship investment vehicle, now exclusively backs founders from underrepresented groups. Its first cohort includes groundbreaking startups that previous venture capital models overlooked. We're seeing innovations that traditional funding mechanisms missed entirely, notes the fund's new director in an industry publication. Diverse perspectives solve problems others don't even recognize. Sterling Innovations, under new leadership, transforms its corporate culture. The company establishes an ethics oversight board with real authority and transparent reporting structures. Quarterly ethics audits become standard practice. Industry conferences implement the Blackwell Protocol, specific measures to prevent harassment and ensure respectful professional interactions. Summit organizers who previously ignored problematic behavior now proactively address it. We've seen a 94% reduction in reported incidents, announces the chair of the Global Tech Summit. The protocol works. Olivia receives the prestigious Innovation Leadership Award, traditionally dominated by men. Her acceptance speech acknowledges those who faced similar discrimination but lacked her leverage to fight back. Today's changes aren't the end goal, she reminds the audience. They're the minimum standard from which we continue improving. The tech press notes a significant shift in venture capital practices. Firms revise term sheets to include enforceable conduct requirements. Investors recognize that toxic leadership creates material business risk. Harassment is now a fiduciary concern, declares a leading VC partner. Limited partners demand ethics compliance alongside financial returns. Companies with diverse leadership teams attract premium valuations. Market analysts develop metrics for leadership risk assessment that factor into company ratings. Sterling himself fades into obscurity. His name becomes synonymous with outdated, destructive leadership styles. Business schools teach the case study as a defining moment in corporate accountability. The Sterling effect demonstrates how quickly market forces punish toxic leadership when proper mechanisms exist, reads a Harvard Business Review analysis. Olivia focuses on Quantum Shift's core mission, developing quantum computing applications for medical research. The company's neural interface technology begins clinical trials, showing promising results for previously untreatable conditions. A year to the day after the infamous Tech Summit incident, Olivia receives an unexpected message. Her assistant delivers it with raised eyebrows. "Jeffrey Sterling wants to meet again," she reports. "This time without lawyers. He says it's not about business or litigation." Olivia considers the request, then writes a single-word response. "When?" Olivia agrees to meet Sterling at a quiet cafe far from tech industry hubs. No press, no entourage, no corporate theater. She arrives precisely on time. Sterling waits at a corner table. His appearance surprises her. Casual clothes instead of bespoke suits, the arrogance drained from his posture. He stands when she approaches. "Thank you for meeting me," Sterling begins. Humility has replaced his former condescension. "What can I do for you, Jeffrey?" Olivia asks directly. "I've spent a year in therapy understanding patterns I refused to see before." Sterling looks genuinely changed. "I'm not asking for forgiveness or redemption, just closure." Olivia listens without interrupting. The power dynamic between them has irreversibly shifted. "You were right," Sterling admits after a pause. "It was never about your capabilities. It was my insecurity, my outdated beliefs. I couldn't see past them." "Recognition is the first step," Olivia acknowledges. She doesn't offer absolution or praise for basic decency. "What comes next for you?" she asks instead. Sterling looks out the window before answering. "I'm working with an ethics professor to develop a program for executives with similar blind spots. No publicity, no redemption tour, just quiet work to prevent others from causing the same harm." Olivia considers this. That could be valuable if approached with genuine humility. "I've learned humility the hard way," Sterling replies. He traces the rim of his untouched coffee cup. "My question is, would such a program have any credibility coming from me?" "Credibility comes from acknowledging harm, making amends, and demonstrating sustained change," Olivia answers. "Time will tell if you're committed to that path." They part without animosity. Not friends, but no longer enemies. Each recognizes the other's humanity in ways their previous corporate roles prevented. Olivia returns to Quantum Shift headquarters, where the company continues flourishing. Their neural interface technologies now help medical researchers across 60 countries. The company maintains its ethical leadership position without compromise. The tech industry shows measurable improvement in diversity metrics and workplace culture. Companies realize that inclusion drives innovation rather than hindering it. Quantum Shift's success proves ethical leadership creates sustainable value. 6 months later, Olivia addresses a graduation ceremony at her alma mater. Thousands of future leaders listen as she distills hard-earned wisdom. "Power without accountability becomes corruption," she tells them. "Success without ethics becomes hollow. True leadership means creating environments where everyone can contribute their best work." The students rise in standing ovation. Her words resonate beyond the auditorium. The story of the canceled merger becomes legend, a turning point when the industry finally acknowledged its cultural failings and began genuine reform. Sterling's program launches without fanfare. Former executives with similar histories participate anonymously, confronting destructive patterns before they cause irreparable damage. Olivia never speaks publicly about her final meeting with Sterling. Some chapters remain private, allowing space for genuine human growth without performative redemption narratives. Quantum Shift's neural interface technology receives breakthrough designation from regulators worldwide. Patients with previously untreatable conditions find new hope through innovations that might never have developed under Sterling's leadership. The lesson reverberates beyond tech. Accountability applies to everyone, regardless of power or position. Olivia reviews quarterly ethics compliance reports with the same attention she gives technical innovations. The standards she established become industry baselines rather than aspirational targets. The tech ecosystem grows healthier with each passing quarter. Innovation flourishes in the more inclusive environment. Problems previously overlooked find solutions from perspectives previously excluded. True power isn't measured by who you can humiliate, but by the positive change you create. If you enjoyed this story of corporate justice, give it a like and share with someone who appreciates seeing accountability in action. Was your heart racing when Olivia canceled that merger? Did you cheer when Sterling finally faced consequences for his behavior? These are the moments that make Beat Stories different from ordinary content. Every week, we bring you powerful narratives of justice, redemption, and accountability that reflect the world we want to see. From corporate takedowns to personal triumphs, our stories showcase moments when power dynamics shift and justice prevails. Subscribe to Beat Stories for your weekly dose of satisfying justice. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our newest uploads.
One story can wake up a crowd. One moment of clarity can crack years of silence. At Beat Stories, we find those moments, and we share them loud and clear. If this made you think, hit subscribe. This is just the beginning.